So what we have here is the list of Dynasty League Baseball frequently asked questions. The one this video is going to be regarding is, how many leagues can I be in? You can be in up to 4 private draft leagues, plus 1 greatest team public league. So if you play in a private draft league and you only play in one, you don't feel like joining 6 others, but you want to play your private draft league team against other teams in your league as like an exhibition, like I do on my GrapeNet League videos. I'm going to show you how to do that. But you're going to have to bear with me because I'm not much for editing, and I'm not going to hit the cough button every time I cough or every time I start umming and on. So I'll show you how to do it. The first thing we do is go to home plate. Up here on the top, you've got new league. You want a private draft league. The greatest teams league is, I've not really experimented with it much other than playing a few series with, I've replayed the 86 World Series a few times. Much to my dismay. It mostly comes out the same. Season replay league, like say you wanted to replay 2017 for some reason, you could do that. Private draft league is the league where you draft your own players on your own roster, and other teams in your league do the same thing. So you have basically a fantasy team based on the year before that you play against one another, which is what I've been doing since the late 1990s, and our league has been doing since the late 1980s. So before we had this handy dandy website, we used to go to each other's houses with cards and dice, and we played the original game with charts and beleaguered wives who would wonder what we were up to and that sort of thing. Now that we have this, we don't have to leave the comfort of our own home, which is nice. So what I do here, my GrapeNet League, is my version of what I'm going to show you how to do. I just finished playing a World Series that was pretty exciting because I finally made the playoffs in one of my versions, and it was against the World Series was against one of the favorites to win our league, and took them to Game 6. So had a 2-0 lead, and Clubbers came back and won, sweeping me 4 straight. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to reset my league, and I'm going to play with 3 more teams for my videos. So we can see like maybe Pittsburgh, Montreal, Oakland, maybe Brooklyn if they have enough players on their team, that sort of thing. But I've already recorded like a World Series, which I'll post after. But I'll show you how to set up something like this for your league or for your team so you can play against other teams in your league, which you can't really do unless you do it this way. So let's get down to it, shall we? So we got to go home, new league, private draft league. Then we have all kinds of options. Private leagues gives you the ability to control several aspects of your league: who plays in it, what the league structure is, what the schedule looks like, who's the player pool, etc. Then they start talking about their draft module that they haven't got yet. So you do your own draft. You've got all your players on your team. You want to set up your private league. And this goes for anybody who's new at this too, who isn't looking to set up an extra, like an extra little side thing that you do just to goof around. This also takes you can also do this for setting up a brand new league. So let's call this the example league. When I'm doing exhibition league like this, I just like to have 4 teams, just because the schedule is trickier, which I'm going to show you how to do afterwards. But you can go anywhere between 4 and 30 teams. And 30 teams, believe it or not, limits what kind of divisions you can set up, that sort of thing. In our league, we have 20 teams. We have one league, one division, top 20, top 8 make the playoffs. So 8 teams. So I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm not sure how Mark set it up to have like one league, one division, all 20 teams in one division. But he did it. I'll show you that after if you want, if I remember. Then you said how many games, what player card season you're using. It's always the year before if you're doing a private draft league. You set up a co-commissioner, the DL. 21's not recommended, obviously, but 10's kind of weird. They should actually probably have a 7, because 10 is also the demotion day. The amount of time when you demote somebody, it's always for 10 days. Most leagues don't play a full 162. So in our league, let's see here. So if we have 30 teams, let's see, 20 teams. That didn't make any sense. 20 divided by 30. So 0.667, then you multiply that by the regular season length. 108. We play 114. So you kind of set up your full schedule that way if you want to. For our example, we're only going to play 20 games. 4 teams. 5 series. 16 is also good. 12 is also good. But I find if I do that, if I do only 16 or 12 games, the limitations, the player cards with limited almost become, you can't use them at all. The idea of this is an exhibition, so you want to see how your cards perform. So you'd set that to 20. Let's see here. And the rest is just what you've agreed on with your league. Since you're doing this, mostly this will be just be doing for yourself. You can decide whatever you want to do. I would just do 1 league, 1 division, 4 teams. Playoff setup. 2 teams. Yep. Whoever finished first, finishes second, gets to play in the World Series. Yep. All leagues use DH. Yep. Change it so that league members can change their team name and they can change their stadium. Yep. You do that. All stadiums is cool because you can go back and have retro stadiums. This doesn't really matter if you're playing by yourself because you can jump ahead and play ahead, as same with the time. And then you would hit save settings. Simple as that. Then your league is set up. So I'm going to show you how I reset everything. So we keep all of our rosters on Fantrax, this handy dandy site. And if you've never seen Fantrax or used it before, I highly recommend it. I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of this. A couple guys for our league do all the commissioner stuff on this. Then we have another person who does all the commissioner stuff on the Dynasty site. and he may have assigned a co-commissioner to help with trades and keeping track of rosters and such. But then we have like also a regular commissioner who makes, initiates rules based kind of stuff and pretty much just babysits us. So because I've finished with that little playthrough that I just did, I was looking at a few more teams to look at and play against before we get into our draft. I would like to play against Washington. I'm not 100% sure he has enough players. He's got a lot of players, but I don't know if they all have cards. And it's a lot of it's pitching stuff too, so yeah, he might not have enough pitching to play against. So this is how I choose who I play against. Tampa Bay would be an interesting team to play against. I think he's got enough. I always look at catcher, where they have 2 or 3 catchers and enough at every position to play comfortably and enough pitching innings. I think he'd be close. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he might have 10 or 11 pitchers, same as me, so I'll keep that in mind. St. Louis doesn't have enough. Seattle has enough. Seattle's an interesting team. Yeah, okay, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's got more than enough. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go on to our team site, our league site. What I'm doing is I'm altering the Grape Nut League. And so instead of starting up a whole new league, I'm just going to alter this here. So I'm going to go to, I pressed the wrong thing. You want to go to the commissioner page. And you want to edit rosters. Editing rosters takes the most time. So let's see here. So we're going to make the Chicago Clubbers. We're now going to be Seattle. So if I hit Shift and then highlight, I can Shift and highlight, I can release them all. So you want to release them, it puts them back in the player pool. And his pitchers. Poor Sandy Alcantara. Didn't get the jam. That should be in the frequently asked questions. Why didn't Sandy Alcantara get the jam? I'm sure there's some reason that I haven't seen. That makes a lot of sense. I'm unable to fathom it. So we go over batters, do the same. Basically, we're just clearing out all the rosters right now. And putting players on the roster is a bit of a chore. But I'll do it so you can see roughly how much time it takes. The whole setup of everything, by the time you do all the schedules and add all the players, probably looking at maybe an hour and a half. And then after that, it's you play all you want. So what I would do here normally is, let's see here, move tab to new window. I like splitting these sometimes, makes it easier to work with. Where are we here? Okay. So let's do Seattle, shall we? Sometimes I do it this way just so I know that whether the guy's got a card or not, so I'm not digging around looking for him forever. Sometimes it's handier to do it in alphabetical order, but if you do that, you don't have a good idea of whether he's got two catchers, that sort of thing. So basically, you just find the player, you highlight it, you move them to active. Don't worry about making roster moves or anything like that. You'll have time to do that for your own team before the first game, and then the computer manager will take care of that once you set everything up. Austin Riley, good player, very good player. It's a good team. Why isn't your team this good, Rick? Because Rick's a loser. Nico Horner. That was another bad trade on my part. Nico Horner and Taylor Trammell for everybody's friend Evan White. I don't know if I should keep or I should drop. Absolutely. There's not much argument for keep, other than he's already won a Gold Glove. Hunter Renfroe. Love DJ LeMahieu. Jorge Alfaro. I used to have him a long time ago when he was threatening to be good. Now he's the Red Sox full-time catcher, I think. What a complete mismanagement of a roster that was. Both by me and by Chaim Bloom. Okay, these guys, Taylor Trammell, I think, has enough for a card. Yeah, see, that's why I jumped back to the 2022 instead of the projection stats, so I can tell. All right, then we switch over to pitchers. Showtime. Didn't think Shohei Ohtani was going to be this good. Yeah. Why am I looking under S? Tyler Glass now. When I first saw Tyler Glass now, I was extremely blown away by him. It looked like he was releasing the ball 5 feet from home plate. Did he not get a card? Oh, he only pitched 6.2 innings. Okay. Just make sure. Pablo Lopez. As much as I like a rise, I don't know if I love that Pablo Lopez deal. Just because I don't trust Jesus Luzardo to stay healthy all year. He hasn't done it yet. And Miami has a few prospects that could probably just slot into those spots, and you're not worry about it too much. So it's kind of amazing what a 106 minus mile an hour fastball will let you get away with. Like Aroldis Chapman just didn't show up for the playoffs. Just decided not to play, not to show up, even because he was probably going to get left off the roster. Okay. Pete Fairbanks not get a card? 24 innings pitched. What am I missing here? Okay. And then Mr. Hand. Tanner Houck. He must have had enough in before his surgery. Yeah. Soto. So this is part of the video where you get to watch me struggle with the alphabet. Don't think this guy has a card. Sounds kind of like a Tampa Bay kind of guy. Frankie Montas. James Paxton, you're never healthy. And Whiskari Noah, don't think pitched enough to get a card. Nope. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Oh, so Pete Fairbanks did get a card. I must have added him before. All right. Make sure I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Anyway, good enough. So the next team we're going to alter will be this. And let's play against, let's see here. I think I looked at Pittsburgh had a pretty good team. Pittsburgh and Oakland. Oakland's pretty complete. Our old friend Gurminder has assembled quite a team again of young players, which he seems to be able to do every year. And he knows which ones are going to be superstars and just takes them. Whereas I have to struggle with guessing. I don't know if he has enough pitching to play against. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not enough. Sorry, Gurinder. Pittsburgh's an up-and-coming team who has more than enough pitching, so let's do him. Let's do his team here. All right, so batters, Kirk. Now we get to check out Luis Arraez's card. That's pretty exciting. Nolan Arenado, holy smokes. All the superstars. Bogey. Where's Will Myers? Oh, alphabet. So normally I would just like pause this and then come back to the video when it's all done after showing you an example of how to do it. But no. I could probably do that actually. It's probably not a horrible idea. All right, I'll do that, and then I'll come back once the schedule part's ready, and show you how to do that. Okay, kids. Looks like we've got all the rosters done. So now we can get back to setting things up. Oh, I could just go back to the commissioner's page. All right. So now we have to reset the league. That's the next step. And then You have to type it in capital letters, reset, hit reset the league. Then you can reset the schedules. I have to go and change all the team names because I've changed to different teams. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we'll change the teams first off so we don't get confused. So the Clubbers became the Pittsburgh River Bandits. So, in case you've never done this before, or spelled or typed, you key in this information. The old Forbes Field. I think Forbes Field had some really wacky dimensions. Let's see here, Pittsburgh. Okay, save. And then you just go to each different team. Kansas City, we changed to the Montreal Expos. So instead of playing in shithole Olympic Stadium, there we go, Jerry Park. We're gonna go super retro. You know, all my days I always thought it was Jerry, but it's JA. Look at that. That's the one new thing I'm gonna learn today. Let's give the Expos the Texas Ranger colors. That's kind of close. And the San Diego Diablos became the Seattle Storm. I know AMAC's out there watching. Six Stadium. Look at that. Did not know that existed. Let's go Current Safeco. That's a nice park. Current Safeco. And I do like Seattle's announcers. They've grown on me. All right, so we want to go to home. And back to the commissioner's page. So now that we've reset it, we can change our league settings. So now we can go back and change anything about the league that we might want to do. I'm good with all this. Just to show you, this is the same stuff that we had at the beginning of the video, 9 hours ago. Don't need to change that. What you want to change is the schedule. You have to edit the schedule. So to do so, click Edit Schedule. And this is where things get a little tricky. I've got the schedule already set up for 20 games. This is why I only do 4, because you have to set each block of games. You have to set up home and away and day and night. And it doesn't really matter on this one. I'm only going to play each one of these teams probably just once. And then once I get those 12 games out of the way, I'll probably reset it again to whatever. So you want to, after you've set up all your different series, how many games, whether you've got... So if I wanted to make it another series, I would just click Insert Series after, and then you would go and individually fill in all this stuff. When you're done, you have to validate it, make sure all the series are filled in. It takes a little playing around with, and it takes a little bit of time. But it is worth it, because once you've done that, you go back to the commissioner's page, and you should be able to start the year with edit schedule, and then finalize schedule and start season. So you have to heed the warning, though. Do not finalize your schedule until you're absolutely sure you are ready to start your season. Okay. So I'm ready. We go to home plate. We go back to the Grape Nut League. We find out that the Boston Mob is scheduled for 4 against the Seattle Storm. Then Montreal Expos, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Montreal. And I've got a message. I think I got a message. Yeah, there it is. That my season's ready to start. Yahoo. The other thing that you have to do before you begin your season, if you're playing against computer managers for all these different teams, is you have to go to each team, and you have to turn the autopilot to on. Pittsburgh, on. Seattle, on. Then when you go to your league homepage, you can simulate these games that you're not playing in, and the computer will do so for you, so you don't get bogged up waiting for other teams or waiting for the computer to play. The River Bandits and the Expos are in looks like a tough fought series right here. And that's about how fast it takes to simulate 4 games on this pretty cool system. All right, so I'll kill this here, and if you have any questions, you can use the comment section. I don't know how often I check it, but I imagine I'll probably get some kind of email notifier or something like that I may or may not read. So mess around with it, play with it. You might as well, if you're in a league and you're paying $70 for 6 months or $15 a month, and you can have four private draft leagues to be in. You don't feel like competitively playing in multiples. You just want to play in 1 or 2, and you want to test your team out against other teams before the season begins. This is how you do it. Good luck.